Hello friends, so today I have an interesting video for you. It is Xiaomi 13T, so not a Pro variant, but basic 13T. And I thought it was interesting to compare it with good old Huawei P30. So why did I think this was interesting? Well, first of all, they are both Leica-based camera setup, separated by different manufacturers and a few generations of development. I think maybe 4 generations, even 5. So it will be interesting to compare results and software and everything like that. Also, they have rather similar camera setup. So large sensor main camera, ultra wide camera, and 2x zoom, 3x zoom on this one. So I think it will be interesting to see it. Just a second. Yeah, my alarm went off. It's still very early here. It's 7:45 in the morning. Anyway, yeah, I played with this one for yesterday, the entire day. And I have to tell you, I really like it. It's this phone has a great price now and some great specs that go with that price. But for me, as always, it's all about camera. So let's check it out. Okay, first we'll go over camera specs. So let's see Xiaomi 13T. So it has a triple camera setup. The main camera, so the one here, it's 50 megapixel f 1.9, 1/1.22 inches sensor size. It has phase detection autofocus and is optically stabilized. The second camera, so this one here, it's also 50 megapixels and also f1.2, but it's 2x digital zoom, optical zoom, sorry, so that's like 50 millimeters equivalent. It is 1/2.88 inches sensor size, which is still kind of good for zoom kit for telephoto camera. And the ultra wide camera, so there's the little one hidden here, is 12 megapixels f2.2, so it's 15 millimeters, so very, very wide. It's rather small sensor and it doesn't have autofocus. It's still way too early for me to do this, but this is the only day of time I have free, so I can do my hobby, and this is my hobby. Okay, so on P30, as you can see, much smaller camera aisle, but the cameras are not bad. So 40 megapixel main camera with laser autofocus and phase detection autofocus, a small sensor with no optical image stabilization. As for the zoom camera, 3x optical zoom, 8 megapixels, so around 80 millimeters equivalent, f2.4. And as for the ultra-wide camera, 16 megapixels, f2.2, and it has autofocus. So when we talk specs-wise, specs are kind of better on Mi 10. Sorry, not Mi 10, on Xiaomi 13T. But specs are better, but P30 has autofocus and ultra-wide and a longer equivalent lens for zoom, but we'll check image quality and see that later. Now let's talk a bit about software. So software wise, they kind of look similar at the first glance. You have modes on the left and right, and additional options here on the left. One thing I will tell you immediately I like more on Xiaomi software on 13T is that when you are in video mode, you can switch resolutions here, and you don't have to go all the way to settings like in P30. As for the video side, while I'm on it, they both max out at 4K 30. So 4K 30, unfortunately no 4K 60 on either of them. So yeah, let's get back to the software. Basically the same functions, just in Pro mode. I really prefer that Xiaomi has pixel peeping and exposure verification, and you don't have that in focus peaking. You don't have that in P30. They also both support Pro modes in video, which is really nice feature to have. And I think even now the newer Pixels still don't have that, and even if they do, it's only the Pro mode, Pro model Pixel, not normal ones. So yeah, kudos to Xiaomi and to Huawei for having this in their phones for like a long time now. As for the other things in software, I would say the software is a bit richer still in Huawei, because you have aperture mode, and that is kind of blended in Xiaomi in portrait mode. So it does work, but you cannot choose your lens. So, but you can choose additional styles. So that's not bad, but you also have that on Huawei. So for the software side, I'd still go kind of for Huawei. Also under the more options. On both of them you have additional stuff. And I like the short film function on Xiaomi. It's kind of the vlog function where you get small template, few of them actually, to choose from and to play with your video. On Xiaomi you don't have that, but let's say on Xiaomi you have real monochrome mode that you can play with if you like that black and white Leica settings. So that's kind of incredible. And they both support log exposure modes. So it's like painting on Huawei, and it's long exposure on Xiaomi. Just a second, yeah, it will not turn. Okay. So you have standard for traffic, crowds, and everything. Thing I've noticed about 13T, they finally did it right. You don't need tripod for most of them. So even handheld, it will be okay. But on Huawei, you can still choose which lens. It will be shot with, like painting, let's say silky water, and you can choose 3x lens, so get a bit further out there. And on Xiaomi you can't. You can just do it with a main lens, and that's it. Other things in software are kind of normal. So under the photo modes, you get additional settings of both of them. They both turn to auto night mode if you need it. Xiaomi shows you how long it will be, and Huawei doesn't, but you can only turn it off. On Xiaomi you cannot expand it or something like that. Under more settings in photo mode, you got HDR control, which is really nice. You don't have that on Huawei. Style control, so you can have Leica Authentic or Leica Vibrant. AI mode, which I always turn off. Tilt shift mode, motion tracking. Those are kind of least important things to me. For me, HDR and style, it's all you need. Okay. As for the video, an interesting thing. When you're in a video, you can choose lens to shoot a video before you start to shoot it. And then when you start to shoot it, sometimes it will allow you to zoom out, see, to ultra wide, but now it doesn't do it. And even if you zoom in, it will not be a real zoom, it will be digital zoom. Okay, so on Huawei, that's not the case. On Huawei, if you start video with a normal lens, you can always zoom out to ultra wide and go further to real telephoto camera. But I've noticed the way to get around it on Xiaomi 13T, and that's to go into settings and aspect ratio change to movie. Okay, now you get this size on left and right. And now when you're in 1x and you zoom out, it will actually zoom out to ultra wide. And when you zoom in, it will zoom into the real telephoto camera. How? Why? I don't know. It's Xiaomi, it's their software. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's buggy, mostly it's buggy, but it has a lot of functions. What will it do? You can choose either that or something else. I choose that. So yeah, that's it for the software side. Kind of more modern software version on Xiaomi. Most people will prefer it over the Huawei's, but few more options of Huawei, few other options, and that's okay. Now I think it's time we switch to the photo quality to compare between these two. So I took maybe 15, 16 shots, and we can compare them just to let you see the difference in image quality. Okay, so the first photo, you can see by the letters, P is for P30 and T is for 13T. Okay, so for start, we have 1x shot, normal mode, so no night mode, no anything. As you can see, colors are a bit warmer on 13T, and that's kind of realistic to be that warm. If we zoom in on highlights, let's say here on letters or here on lamp, you can see that 13T does a much better job of controlling highlights. So even though the details are kind of, I don't know, too polished here, it's still better image quality. So this one goes to 13T. Okay, now we have the same shot, but with the night mode. With the night mode, you can see that 13T uses a bit higher ISO value, so 640, and P30 uses 250. But the image quality is on the side of 13T. So let's see BMW here. So much clearer image on 13T. Okay, now this is with 3x shot. So P30 has real 3x, and I've zoomed in a bit on 13T, sorry. Let's check here on the edges. Okay, again, highlights a bit better controlled on 13T, but details on the side of P30 because it is further zoom than on 13T, so this one goes to P30. Okay, so here we have very dark environment where both of phones turned on automatic night mode, and here is where you can see that 13T does provide better image quality. First of all, everything is kind of focused. P30 was a bit out of focus. That's probably because it doesn't have optical image stabilization, but when you look at the photo and everything, it is much more usable on 13T, much clearer, sharper, and everything. So this one definitely goes to 13T. When we check ultra wide, so they both used auto night mode. You can see when you zoom out, exposure is a bit brighter on P30, but that doesn't matter really because when you zoom in, it loses all the details because of the blur. So yeah, this one goes to 13T. And this one is where I've actually decided, okay, this one is actually really nice and I would like to have it as my daily driver. So this is very dark mode, very dark time of the day. You can see that they both did okay job, but when we zoom in, it's much sharper and in focus on 13T, and the highlights are not blown out on 13T as in P30. Yeah, it does bit over sharpening here and here, but all in all, it's very, very impressive night mode. This is probably the best night mode I've seen on any phone so far. So for me, this is absolute win. Okay, let's see a few more images. So this is just a basic mode inside the room with a low light. You can see that 7T does have a bit more details back on the wall, but that's probably because of different focus areas. So kind of okay on both of them. Bit more noisy on 13T because of higher ISO value, but in my opinion, more decent photo still. When we switch to night mode, we get a bit brighter results. And here the details are on the side of P30. But then again, a very nice photo from both of them. Very, very impressive. Still details somewhat better on 13T. I mean, this 13T is really surprise of the year for me. All the phones I tried this year, this one is the best. Okay, ultra wide. I believe this is just auto mode. f2.2 on both of them. Yeah, not special, but both photos are usable. When we switch on to night mode, we get somewhat better photo on 13T, but the best thing about this 13T is it doesn't miss the focus. All photos are always in focus, and that's great. It's kind of unrealistic HDR here, but still better photo than on P30. Okay, so now this is interesting. So this is a full sensor resolution, 40 megapixels versus 50 megapixels. This one is in low light. Let's see here. So details are better on 13T, definitely. Look at the textures here on painting. Let's go to the wall, yeah. Yeah, finally phone that I can use every day without crying about my old Huawei's. I mean, you can see that Leica really did its job well with this series of phone. Okay, so these are the same photos, but I've turned on the light. So yet again, wow, it's really impressive. 50 megapixel shots from 13T. Really nice. Look at this. Look at the textures. Whoa. Even the color is more accurate. The wall is not this white. Amazing. Okay. This is just a normal shot, low light. So kind of similar details, maybe a bit better on 13T. Yeah, kind of similar. Yeah, a bit different white balance, but everything else is the same. This is, I believe, zoomed in 2 times, probably. Let's check it. No, this is a bit more than 2 times. This is 3 times zoom. Okay, so even though details are kind of lost here on 13T, it's still better image. More sharper, less noisy, more details. Okay, let's check the next one. This one is a bit more zoomed in. So here P30 should have the advantage because it has a further focal length. But for me, look at the color here. Nice black. It kind of washed out blue here. Yeah, 13T definitely crashed this one. This is first time this year I was really impressed by another phone that it's not all Huawei. Okay, so this is maximum zoom like 20 times, something like that. Here again, look at the texture back on the wall. Colors, yeah. I also have a video sample. I will play it now. As you can see, the P30 has that red, yellow, blue sensor, and so it gets a bit more light, but sharpness and fluidity of the video is on side of 13T. To conclude, 13T, in my opinion, the best Xiaomi ever made in this class. I haven't tried 13 Ultra or 13 Pro, but 13T, it costs around 500, let me check right now. Yeah, 529 euros here in Croatia. So for that price, you get extremely well built phone with great features and amazing camera. I definitely recommend it. Thank you for staying this long. I'll see you in the next one.